Whew. Hey guys, now I'm usually a reviewer of action figures, but today I'm going to be reviewing an episode of The Walking Dead. This one I thought was so good it deserves my own review. Now this episode really showcased a new thing. They never really did this before. It was mainly Carol. Now, she did have sort of a lot of one episode, which was, I believe, that was when she helped Rick and and all the other guys escape from Terminus. But since then, we haven't gotten anything. Before then, we didn't really get anything. But now, it's really... This episode was Carol-filled. And I dig it. I really like the way they've done Carol. I've even got my Carol dog tag here. Carol mystery Funko thing. Carol figure, which is not very good. I'm going to review this in some time. Perhaps the future. Not very good. Anyway. This episode was just... It was like... If I wrote it myself, I couldn't think of anything better to put in it. Perhaps a little more Rick, because Rick's my favorite character still, but anyway. This episode definitely confirmed that Carol is better than most characters on the show. She's gone to my second favorite character. Daryl used to be my second favorite. She's gone past Daryl point, which is good for any character. I mean, Daryl was so cool for so long, but she is just... She outdoes him, I gotta say. Now this episode starts out with Enid, which is... Her name is Dine backwards. I've never heard the name Enid before. Anyway, it shows her sort of a little of her backstory, like what happened to her and how she got to Alexandria. I sort of thought there would be a Enid-heavy episode this time, because of that, but it wasn't. It wasn't by far, it wasn't. But we did see her backstory, but then after that it wasn't much of her. That's good or bad, depending on what you think. But because it wasn't a Enid-heavy episode, it was a Carol-heavy episode, which was... It was something really special. If you haven't seen the episode... Make sure to see it and then watch my review, because I don't want to be the first to spoil every little thing for you. So yeah, definitely watch it first. Now, a lot of people probably have just watched TrevChan, which is another YouTube place, but I used to watch him, but by now he's gotten a little... I don't think he's too into his reviewing. But anyway, this episode started with Enid, then it moved on to Carol, and she's hanging around all of her little buddies that she's made at the kitchen area, and she's like talking about how she's made casseroles from stuff that she's been running out of, and it sort of gives you some backstory about what she used to do, and sort of gives us an idea of why she's so good at cooking after the zombie walker apocalypse. And that was kind of good to learn. And she does this funny exchange where she's like, she's talking to this one girl who's like jealous of her cooking, and she's like, you want to learn how to cook my stuff like I do? Then stop smoking so many packs of cigarettes in your house a day. It's horrible for you. There's so many things that want to kill you here. Why do you make it harder for yourself? And that exchange I found humorous, and then later it sort of pays off because you see the lady smoking like a chimney sort of arrogantly outside, and then this guy runs up and just whack with a machete, and it's one of the guys with a W on their head. In this episode, Alexandria is getting invaded by those guys with W's on their heads. I'm going to call them the Walkers. Human Walkers, so we don't get confused. Now, the Human Walkers... They seem to be worse than walkers, because they do the equivalent of what a zombie does, a walker does, by biting someone, but by these guys stabbing someone, it's worse because they turn into zombies afterwards, but they die immediately. It's just, and they're fast, they're strong, they've got all the abilities of a regular human being because that's what they are, but they're just like dynamos and they're insane, so they're really fast, they're really upbeat about it. They seem to not really care. It's just ingrained into them that they have to destroy. It's definitely a new concept. I mean, we've had bad guys in The Walking Dead before that are human, but we've never really had this level of bad guy. They've always just been sort of laid back, and then the governor, most of his people were good people, and then he was just a bad dictator type leader. And then for Terminus, they were cannibals, but they had a process, and they were more regular. They were just like human beings treating the other human beings as cattle. Like, it wasn't them thinking about them as humans that they're slaughtering, it seemed. But in this, these new human walkers are just terrifying. They're worse than the walkers for sure. And then we get, right after that happens, Carol just jumps to her guns, tells Carl to take care of the baby, heads out and goes to protect the armory, which is where they keep all their guns. And on the way, we see all these human walkers just slaughtering people, and maybe Carol should have tried to help a little. At some points she did. It just seemed like she should have shot that guy. But anyway, she makes up for that definitely by just, she goes all out and shoots any guy that any of the bad guys that she gets near her. And then we get introduced to a new character, I think. It's Deanna's other son, and he's in a tower with his rifle, and as these guys are coming, he just sucks at shooting, and then this truck is coming up, and he shoots at it, and I guess he hits the guy. The guy crashes into their fence, and then it causes the truck to go, ha, which is that noise that we heard in the first episode of this season. And another thing, JSS, that's the name of the episode. We finally find out what it stands for at the end. It's just somehow survive or something like that. If I got that wrong, leave it in the comments below. Other than that, I'm mainly going to be talking about Morgan and Carol, because there's nothing really other than what I've already mentioned that's not surrounding Morgan and Carol. Now, Carol, after she gets to the armory, there's that lady with the glasses there that she finds after shooting a couple of people that were following her. And she has her set up with the gun. Then she goes back out to kill even more people, which is just awesome. But then we see why Morgan is not a very good character. Morgan is really just, he's that new Tyrese character. Tyrese got to this one point where he didn't want to kill, like, anything. He was hesitant to kill at all. And it caused for a bad arc, and then his death. As for Morgan refuses to kill any human. He will kill walkers, but not any human. I don't think he's killed any human in this episode. They show it like the end, he has this guy beaten up on the floor, and then maybe he kills him, but I think he just ties him up and he's going to keep him hidden in that place. Then it's going to cause a problem, I'm sure. But then we got to see a little bit of Maggie. Nothing much about her. She's just trying to help Deanna. Even though really Deanna's not needed at this point, Rick's really in charge. And then we get to see Father Gabriel be useless and cry like a baby all the time. Carl kills his second person in this episode. He previously killed someone in Season 3, the end of Season 3, where he just shoots this kid, like, right out. In this one, he hesitates for some reason, and the guy gets a hold of his gun, and he's, like, fighting with it, but he's able to kill the guy anyway. We get to see how he reacts with Jesse's son, And Jessie gets to do an awesome kill in this, where she's leaving her closet to go get her son, her other son. Her one son's in a closet, she's going to help her other son. And then she gets jumped by this crazy human walker chick. And they have this grapple, and she ends up on the ground and then like unconscious seeming, but then she hops up, grabs scissors, and just stabs the crap out of the lady. She just stabs her like 50 times, which is pretty efficient. And then the final stab is, I found it kind of humorous. After she's done stabbing her, she's like slowing down, and then chunk, it gets her in the head. I don't know. It was just like off the cuff. As for that, Carol, there's this one scene where Morgan, of course, he wants to save all these bad guys, so he has this one guy that he's tying up real efficiently, and then Carol's walking by, she got some weapons from the armory, she's coming back with the weapons, she sees him tying up a guy, and she just shoots him, like, immediately, right? Not even, like, registering what's going on here, just immediate, bam! Okay, now here's your weapon, and then Father Gabriel, here's your weapon. Father Gabriel cries some more, makes a little whiner baby out of himself, and then Morgan moves on, doesn't use the pistol at all. He sort of looks really angry, sort of peed off at Carol when she shot the guy. He's just like very judgy towards her. So I think he's like the new Dale. Do you remember Dale from The Walking Dead, season 1 to 2? Yeah, he was sort of the conscience of the group, and he refused to kill humans and stuff like that, and he's like, this isn't the right thing to do, and yeah, that's Morgan now, only Morgan is a bad arse that's pacifist, so kind of a weird mix there. We finally get to see Carol murder 50 people. That's what really made the episode great, and then other than that, I think that's pretty much everything to go over. It was a great episode because it had great filmography, great directing, really fast-paced. I felt like it was 20 minutes. Like, if you've watched a Fear the Walking Dead episode, it's like, you can really feel that that's a long episode. But with these new episodes of The Real Walking Dead, they go by so fast that it's kind of... It's disappointing that it's so fast. It's like you want it to linger a little longer. But we got a lot of quantity and quality in this episode. A lot more than you would get from a Fear the Walking Dead episode. Fear the Walking Dead wasn't very good. But this is... If they keep this up, this will be the best season ever. Because first episode was great. Second episode, even better. I think we're going to have a really good season here. Besides, I forgot to mention, Morgan totally let these guys go. He was surrounded by a bunch of creeps, but he couldn't easily beat them up. He even demonstrated. He could totally kill these guys, but he lets them go. He warns them that they have a bunch of weapons in this place, and they could shoot them. So the people start running out, and this one guy grabs a gun as he's leaving, and Morgan seems like he wants to stop him by that, but just like half-heartedly, and then all these people get away, and they live to fight another day because Morgan is a jerk. Not a very good start for his character. Carol dressed up as one of the human walkers. That was cool. She puts on this jacket with a hoodie, pulls it up, has this like headpiece and then a bandana. I want a figure of this, by the way. It's just awesome. Then she draws the W on her forehead in blood and goes running around just killing all these other guys as that she's coming, because these guys still think that she's like one of their people. It's like, how many did you kill, or what's going on? Just immediate death for them. It was great. I think that's probably the best part, where she's running around like that. And that's pretty much all I have to say for the episode. I'll see you guys in the next video. It's probably a review, most likely a review, definitely a review, and I will see you then. Goodbye, my friends.